Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. All right. How is everyone in the Rhino universe today? Totally cool. So today will be a quick call, I think, right? I always say it's going to be a quick call and then it actually goes a little bit longer, but so be it. Let's see. So we have I feel like things are just going as they should, right? Like there's not that many updates every single day, which is a good thing, right? Um, Good morning, Brian. When you have too many updates, it means things are constantly in flux, which could be good or could be bad, right? A good update is a good thing. A bad update is a bad thing. To have no updates means you're just going the course, which, again, as long as the course is good, that's a good thing. Today, our Rhino Hub members have reached has broken or 100, which is really cool because today's actually only day 11, which means we're averaging, I guess, 9.18 or something per day, which is good because once you're in Rhino Hub, you're in. As a participant in Rhino Hub, you go through your curriculum, you take your certification, God willing, you pass your certification, and along the way, you would have touched and been introduced to new premium services. You would have grown with the community, and there's a social media aspect to it, which we actually have not spent much time on. See, the thing with, I guess really launching anything is there's two ways of doing it. Either you take a whole bunch of investment, keep it totally private, and then you do it behind closed doors, and when things are ready to be launched, you show it. Or there's a way that we're doing it, which is we're doing it in real time. So as we've been doing Rhino Hub, which I've been spending 2 to 3 hours a day live, going through the curriculums and teaching. As I've been doing it, I've been recognizing that great. When this is all done, I'm going to get a chance to go back and edit to make sure the videos are perfect, to make sure that we go ahead and put in whatever extra. And what I mean by that is, so we have a complete 21-day curriculum that actually touches every part of one's life, whether it be, obviously the financial aspect. Hey, Frida. And Frida, I have to get you an email. I have to get everyone the email actually for the affiliates of Rhino Hub, how to get people into it. And that I'm doing this weekend. Okay, so in Rhino Hub, not only is it the curriculum to go ahead and get the certification to receive the higher income, but also in upgrading anyone's life, you have to upgrade every part of it, right? So it's the meditation, the exercise, the eating right, family time, hobbies, leisure, finances, scheduling. There's a whole bunch of other stuff. And what I've been finding is that, yeah, a lot of people attend the lives and they participate with the curriculum, but I don't have any way to make sure that somebody's going to the gym, right, or eating right, or any of that stuff. And it's not that I need like that's a little big brother. Like I don't need to know that stuff, but I do think there is a middle ground between telling someone to do something, and even though they would like to do it, it just never being brought up again, or the ability or resources to easily do it is not there. So what I've been thinking and what I've been learning over the last week and a half, like for instance, I got an email from HelloFresh yesterday. They're like, oh, we have the most amazing affiliate offer deal. Get in and get your free meals and make this much off people that join because of you. And I realized that more so than anything else, Rhino Hub actually is a really amazing affiliate platform because again, it's free. We're bringing everyone in, but we're also touching all the different points in one's life that they want to improve to begin with. So when we go ahead and have a complete section on eating right and YouTube videos and calorie counts and all the rest of it, well, how does that person go ahead and accomplish that goal? They would have to read our email and say, okay, great. Now let me go do it myself. Well, if they hadn't done it themselves yet, why are they going to do it themselves then? It doesn't make much sense. What makes more sense is to go ahead and make sure someone's committed. And there are certain ways to commit someone, right? One of the ways is to make them spend money. Because when you spend money, you're going to commit to what you spent the money on. Like for instance, say you went shopping this week and you bought a whole pound of ground beef, right? And 3 days go by and you haven't touched it yet. And you know day four it's gonna spoil. Even if you don't want ground beef day three, you know what you do? All right, we gotta cook it. Like shove it down your throat, eat it. Like we're doing it. Um, and some people might freeze it, right? So that's not the option we're going for. But I know I don't freeze any food. Yeah, thank you, Brian. So the point being, can we go ahead and identify a really great affiliate offer with a really great food prep company? Because if we could, then we can go ahead and nudge the individual at their highest point of excitement that this is what they want to do. They then go ahead and purchase that meal plan. So say they purchase, I don't know, 30 meals from HelloFresh or whatever company. We'll go ahead and receive the affiliate commission, which goes to Rhino Bucks, so everyone's happy, higher income. But more so than that, the individual is now committed to doing it. Because no individual that I think of, that's any reasonable adult, will go ahead and spend, say, $50, $60, $70 to eat good with a whole bunch of meals being delivered to their house, and then say, you know what? I'd rather spend more money, go take a ride to Burger King, than to eat the meal that I selected for myself for the goal of getting fit while I'm completing a program to upgrade my lifestyle. And if that makes sense, then you can extrapolate that out, right? So what other platforms are out there that would be on brand with what we're doing? I don't know the answer to that, right? But I know that I need to go take a look. I know that this makes sense to me. And even more so than that, again, let's go ahead and take it another level. So because RHINOHUB is going to become an agency, well, it's already, we just haven't offered it out yet, that allows anyone to go ahead and white label the store as their own. And because we're doing all the content and all the work, and the individual that goes ahead and participates in agency is simply collecting passive income, wouldn't that individual be benefited by additional income opportunities, right? So say, for instance, the average member on an average week is worth, I don't know, 75 cents, $2, whatever the number. Well, in including the affiliate platforms for these different offers, could they go ahead and raise the per member per week revenue by 10%, by 15%? I don't know. But I imagine if you're collecting 75 cents per person, you would rather collect, say, 82 cents per person. And that might not sound like a lot, but on 100 people, that comes out to an extra $8, right? Right? Yeah. On 1,000 people, how much more? And also those things are for the lifetime that the people are with the program, I think. I don't know how they do the commission. I don't know if it's a one-time or if it's a recurring, but we'll take a look into it. So what other ones are out there, right? And we want to take a look into that. Also, in completing, so right now we're just going through the 21 days. And in the follow-up emails, it's step 1, step 2, step 3 to go ahead for the member to complete the task for that day's curriculum. What we want to do, and since all those emails are sequenced, we can go back after they're done when we actually have the time and don't need to be live every day, and include in those emails, step 7, if you hadn't looked at this yet, you really should. Now, what is this? We don't know. But maybe step 7 is, if you haven't looked at Rhino Wealth yet, here it is. And then you have a great landing they go to. Maybe it's on day 13 when the individual that watched every single day and opened up every email, maybe day 13 for that person is a really good time to offer them a premium product. Again, we're going to know who opened every email, who clicked every email. So we'll know who the most engaged are. And for those, we'll go ahead and maybe send them that email because that speaks better to them. The point being, after the 21 days, this 21 days is I don't want to say winging it, because it's really not only offensive, but it doesn't even come close to sharing what we're doing or representing. But do I think we can do 4 or 5 times better than we're doing? Yeah. The only reason we're not able to is I'm learning the curriculum as we go through. I don't have any clue what we're learning until I learn it, which means it takes me to learn it to then for me to teach it. Which means there's sometimes that we're learning it together. Like for instance, the last segment of it, I was watching the curriculum simultaneously as the live audience was. At that moment, the onus then comes, then the onus is then on me. Anthony, are you smart enough that you cannot look like a fool and you could go ahead and pass this and be able to teach it simultaneously while learning it? Thank God the answer was yes. But I don't think that's going to be 100% of the time. I don't think I'm going to be able to watch something 100% of the time, learn it, and be able to teach it simultaneously. What the benefit of is of completing the first go around is the fact that on the second go around, you already learned the first go around. Like, I know what to expect. I can go ahead and situate things better and present things better and stack things better. And because it's all automated, that's easier said than described, which, it's usually easier said than done. No, it's actually easier than I just mentioned it, because the video is all recorded, which means I can then go into the email sequences and put different things in it. Oh, I remember day 4. I remember this happened. Let me do this in there. Oh, you know what? This is a morning email. Let's go ahead and let them know to prep for this. And in doing so, you get to be really responsible and respectful, right? Like, we're not going to tell someone, hey, go take a look at, Rhino Welt or Rhino Bucks on day 2 when, the curriculum was about joining new Twitter groups so that you can have a support system. That doesn't make sense. But what about the day that they do go ahead and pass the test, and now we're walking them through how to do some self-promotion and make the personal website and be able to reach out to as many people as possible? Would it behoove them to join Rhino Email at that point, where they learn how to email, say, 1,000 new people every single day and fly under the radar and be able to do so? Again, yesterday we emailed 16,000 new emails. 16,000 emails that have never heard of us got emailed yesterday. Did everyone receive their email today? Yeah, because we weren't shut down. We weren't any of the bad things, because we know how to do it respectfully, responsibly, and the process to do it. That's RHINO Email. And there'll also be new programs. I was speaking to one of our rhinos yesterday, and they're like, well, we have RHINO Email and RHINO Welt and prompt engineering, which you really haven't spoke of lately, Anthony. I know. When have I had time to speak of prompt engineer? We have to, again, these are the things that we'll put in after the curriculum's done, so we can go ahead and place it within the emails and stuff. But the individual said, these aren't so many, revenue opportunities. Are there more? I said, well, I have no clue what we're going to make, but I think our history has at least shared that we will find things to make, and not because we're bored, but because new ideas come to mind. So maybe there is a rhino eating. I have no clue, but there will be new things. The name, or I guess the goal, is that in RHINOHUB we have, say, 6 or 7 different premium opportunities that the individual could participate in, all within, and again, these are only the asparagus, the potatoes, the creamed spinach. The steak is the curriculum. The steak is free. As long as the reality is anybody can join RHINOHUB, never pay $1, use us, take advantage of us, do the curriculum, pass the test, tell us to kick rocks, and never see us again. That actually is the goal of RHINOHUB. That's not what we want, but that's the experience we want to create. Because if anyone can come to us for free, get value, upgrade their life, leave us, then that is the definition of truly free. Insofar as any individual would do that, I think it's a very small percentage. I think if we're able to do all of that, and someone goes from making a $30,000 a year to $150,000 a year, I think that individual would at least buy, a shot glass, right? Like, they're going to do something, or they'll be the coolest person in a room when they introduce the idea to someone else who's like, oh my God, I don't know what to do about a career, right? So that's where the ground zero is that extrapolates out. Like, I guess that's the blast radius. There are a crap ton of potential. Yeah, there really is. The difficult part is that while doing it, it just takes a lot of focus, a lot of resources, and we're not making any revenue. So, so there is difficulty in doing this, and we are managing stuff. I've actually been thinking about doing another Rhino Bucks offer today at an obscenely low amount, with the caveat that you're not allowed to flip it. Like, I've never said you are allowed or not allowed, and I'm not gonna Like, I'm not going to watch you. But I think everyone in Rhino is fairly self-respecting. And if the email says you're not allowed to flip this for 21 days or something, I actually don't know anyone in Rhino that would say, "Ha, I'll agree to this and then flip it tomorrow." In which case, if someone did that, we'll shut down your account. And the reason I'm able to say that is because I actually could. And now this isn't me gloating, although I have this big smirk on, right? When we created Rhino Bucks, we had the opportunity to code the contract, right? Duh. And in the contract, we had many questions that we answered. And of those questions was, do you want the ability to be able to shut down any wallet from selling Rhino Bucks? And again, these are like nuclear options, right? Like anyone that knows me knows I'm not going to frivolously or arbitrarily or anything like that ever. Like I just will never do it. But can I imagine a moment where somebody is, I have no idea, right? Like what if someone gets hacked and there's a wallet address that hacks like 10,000 Rhino coin and is selling it? Like I need to shut that down. The point being, I always want to have all the options on the table. But to the extent that I would ever use them, no. But I don't find I don't have a good reason to not have options. Having options is always good. The point of me saying that is if I ever did an obscenely one time because we need funds to just get through, because we have a big investment coming in and we just want to get to it. And we're taking the time. See, here's the thing. I think people sometimes forget this. I am acting on behalf of Rhino, not on behalf of Anthony. That's very different. On behalf of Anthony is to find as many revenue opportunities to go ahead and fund a growing life and checking account and stuff like that. On behalf of Rhino is to go ahead and invest, is to reinvest every day, whether it be labor, resources, finances, anything, to equal a better product on the long term, and the long term being, a couple of months from now, whatnot. See, you cannot create the vision you cannot cross the finish line that we're looking to cross by saying, okay, you know what, we did 2 days of work, now let's go ahead and sell some stuff. It just doesn't work like that. So when I'm acting on behalf of Rhino, I'm investing like I've never had a paycheck. Rhino like never once paid me. My wife is like, Anthony, you do everything for free. I go, no, we own Rhino, right? So like the goal is that, at a later date, everything would have made sense, right? Like if you own X amount percentage of Rhino and Rhino's worth a trillion bazillion, well, then you own X percentage of a trillion bazillion, which is much more than say 1,000 a week type of thing. So when I'm working on behalf of Rhino, I'm reinvesting my time. I'm reinvesting all of our resources. Our resources have payroll. Like things cost money. So I am in talks with one, it's so obnoxious. We had so many people that said, all right, yeah, I can give you this, this, and this, and then just life happened to them. It's not their fault. Life actually happened to them. But we have one individual that I truly trust, like wholeheartedly. And I believe that's going to arrive in a week or two, which is great. It's a little bit longer than I wanted though, right? So I might actually have to do an offer. I really don't want to though. Like I actually don't want to. So we'll see. I mean, you might get an email around like 2 or 3 o'clock, or maybe 6 o'clock. Maybe I'll do it this evening. I don't know. Anyway, the point being, we will send it out. And if we do, it will be like, well, you can't flip it for 21 days. And I think if one or, I don't want to say that because that's like, if one person does it, then everyone wants to be that one person. I really don't think I know anyone right now that would actually, okay, I'm agreeing not to do it in 21 days, but I'm going to do it. But if someone did that, I would, if you agreed to something, there's a level of like self-respect, dignity, and that is RHINO. So if you agreed to doing something and then you didn't do it at the sacrifice and to hurt of everyone else, that's one of those things where I would say, okay, you're now in timeout. So that's just the point of that story. I know it's 19 minutes. What do I got? Anything else? Okay, 100 RHINOHUB, looking at affiliate stuff. The store is completed as far as fashion can be completed. It's never completed, but we do have a workable version of it. I actually just bought the URL, Today's Rhino. That'll be the name of the store. Which, by the way, do you know Rhino Gear is a URL that no one owns, but GoDaddy sells it for $100,000? Do you know Rhino Collection is like $25,000? Do you know Rhino Store is like $35,000? And these are URLs that no one has. But the fact that store or gear or collections in it, it's like, well, we're just going to sell it for a ton of money. So I had to keep looking up. Okay, well, what can we do? So today's Rhino sounded good to me. Today's Rhino, I like it. So that is going to be the URL. I'm connecting it to probably right after this call. That's all I got. I did see over the last week and a half, 2 weeks, there have been some sizable selling. One individual sold 200 2 days ago. One individual sold 200. I think one sold 300. One sold 500. I actually know each reason for that, and I don't say that in terms of Big Brotherish. I say that in terms of Rhino actually is like, there's no one in Rhino that I don't know, that I don't speak to. And Rhino has such a level of respect that when someone's selling, they don't need my permission. No one needs my permission. But a lot of times someone will say, hey, listen, hey, Ant, just want to let you know I'm gonna do this. Are you cool with it? And it's one of those things that you ask the question knowing there's only one answer, yes, but you do it out of respect, right? Like when you say to your wife after you already bought Chinese food, hey, I really want Chinese food tonight. Do you mind? Well, what am I gonna say? No, you have the Chinese food, which I think I really want Chinese food. But everyone always does. So none of those are for reasons that are structural to Rhino. I really have been noticing that the economy's just kicking people's butt lately. So many things are happening. So yeah, that's just that. And we've made sure to continue buying. Like I've always said, the selling is finite. There's only so much out there. The buying is infinite because it's recurring. That's always been the value proposition of Rhino. That's always been the subscription proposition to Rhino. That because the revenue constantly comes in, the recurring, the buying is every single week, then the selling is finite. It's only how much is out there, but the buying is infinite. So I do appreciate that a lot of us know that, because in other worlds, people would be like, oh my God, they're selling. What do they know? I better sell too. But that's in the world where selling is, okay, that's in the world where you don't know the buying. Again, there's two parts to this equation. There's buying and there's selling. If you don't know the buying and you see selling, you shoot first and ask questions later. All right, I don't know what's going on, but I'm gonna sell. But if you see the selling, then you're able to measure it. Okay, there's very little selling, but they're selling, so let me pay attention. All right, it's still not enough to offset the buying, therefore I'm okay. And that behavior allows everyone to feel comfortable, which then goes ahead and decreases the anxiety for the next person to make that same calculation. It's a self-fulfilling prophecy that actually solves itself. Like I'm not saying this is going to happen or this should happen or that I want it to happen, right? Like, so this is completely hypothetical. Say for instance, somebody decided to sell 10,000 Rhino today, right? They decided, the hell with Rhino. And they really, disadvantage themselves, because you would bring the price down so much by the time you finish selling it. The price of Rhino would probably go down to, let's say they were able to sell at $1.25, because 10,000 would really bring it pretty far down. Oh, so the price went to $1.25. Okay. Now that would look terrible. A lot of people, including myself, would be like, oh my God, that's like really miserable. What would actually happen though? All of the recurring, that would stay absolutely the same, right? Like the recurring isn't affected by the selling, unless someone says, oh my God, the selling's so bad, I don't want to be a part of this. But that's an extra derivative. Like you would have to say this equals that, hence this is my behavior. And there's too much friction in that to really count on that. But let's say it went down to 125. Do you know what would happen? All the recurrings that would come in would be able to buy twice as much. So instead of us buying coin at say 205, we'd be buying twice as much at 125, which means at 125, a reasonable, person that was able to understand how this is actually structured would say, wow, I think I'm actually going to double my investment now. I think I'm actually going to double my recurring. I know that this is the bottom. It's just going to move up from here because now the money that comes in can buy twice as much. So the only way for that to continue lower is to have twice as much selling. So you'd have to have, say, 20,000 worth of selling at any given point to go ahead and produce the same outcome, because the purchasing is doing twice as much because it buys twice as much because the price is half. I don't know if that confused anyone. It kind of confused me just saying it out loud, but I mean, I understand it. The point being, when you have a subscription model, the buying is always constant. Therefore, whatever the selling is finite, and finite is less than infinite, which means the buying will always win against the selling. Okay, so I'm I really got on this. I'm like, it's gonna be quick. Let me just see. When I started online about 10 years ago, I was very passionate about healthy eating and wrote a book. Oh, cool. Yeah, Frida, definitely send that to me. Are you kidding me? I would love that. We'll put that right in RHINOHUB. You could, oh, duh, and there's a link. All right, everyone, honestly, you know what? Frida, we'll put this in the YouTube as well. In fact, I'm gonna copy it. Oh, I opened it. Where am I? Yeah, so in the YouTube, it gets watched probably 50, 60, 70 times. At the very least, we'll put the link in there, and maybe a lot of people will look at it. There's a reason I stopped looking at the price. Yeah, duh. Okay, love everyone. I will see you tomorrow. I don't know if I'm going to do the offer. I might. So just kind of pay attention. It's going to be obscenely low. Because the point of the offer is we want people, like, I don't want to make it like, oh, should I, shouldn't I? I want to be like, oh, wow, duh, like, let me get in. Because that's what I need, or we need. All right, so I love everyone, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye.